All right, we live. It's Grand's. It's the Grand Fridays, episode 17. 17. I let my hair out a little bit this episode. Kind of want to, you know, wearing hats. Wearing hats when my hair is really long now. Just, I don't know. I'm gonna decide. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with my hair. But welcome to the Grand Fridays. I am GrandZ. Shout out to the YouTube viewers. Like and subscribe. Shout out to everybody who hops on and off the Facebook Live. Appreciate it. This week we talking strictly about music. I had some people tell me about last week that they enjoyed the show. I appreciate it. Last week's topic was a good topic. It was around music, but you know what I mean? It was outside of the realm. Like I said, hopefully it wasn't offensive. Hopefully it was just more so of a perspective from a black man. But this week, we talking strictly about music. We talking about, from a unsigned artist's point of view, where it's like, I'm sure on your timelines, no matter what social media you like to use, you have so many different people who are pursuing to be artists from all ages and things of that nature. So we're gonna get into some numbers that should be really intriguing to people who are, who's aspiring to be an artist, or who's just, I know that you may see these posts and you just scroll past them, but maybe you will check out these individuals' links and things of that nature. So not just music people, but just anybody on your timeline who's trying to tap into the entertainment business, either that's through podcasts, either through that music, or through any type of content. Maybe after this show, this will make you think twice about potentially assisting your fellow friend on social media. And not just me, but I'm just talking about anybody. So we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna be honest, this has been a busy week for me. So professionally and just things around the house, trying to remodel the kitchen. So something like that. So I haven't really had time to make beats this week, but I will tell you about my progression when it comes to the next phase of my plan. So I told you on the first episode that the reason for the Grand Fridays episodes was because we're in a pandemic, and I wanted to showcase my talent, of making instrumentals. So that was my first reason for creating this. But the main goal was to get back into making beats, and then make a certain amount of beats, and then go to phase 2, which would be creating a marketplace for them. So this week, what I did was finally get to that point. So something that I'm going to, one place where you can now find some of these instrumentals, and I'm posting daily, as we speak, all of the beats that I've done. I'm posting them as much as possible. The first place you can look is on YouTube, on my YouTube page. It's called GrandZ Insert Greatness Here. That's the name of it. So if you're on YouTube, all you got to do is search GrandZ, GrandZ, capital Z, Insert Greatness Here. And you will be able to pull up the YouTube page where the Grand Fridays is hosted, along with other content from me. And so like and subscribe to that. And for those who are watching this on YouTube, just hit that that subscribe button, and the like button on the video if you like this. Anyway, that's where the beats are being posted, along with I just created a BeatStars page, or started to really create a BeatStars page, and learning a lot about BeatStars and what they offer. And I'll talk a little bit more about that today in this show as well, about that platform, and just strictly on BeatStars is where, you know, right now I have nothing post, but I created the page and I'm working towards it. I have to go back and mix. I have to go back and mix some. I got to go back and mix some beats, or at least export them in the format that is conducive to their platform. So I'm gonna get into I think I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But yeah, so I feel like so those are the two places where you can find the beats. BeatStar page, my BeatStar page, which is you can type in beatstars.com/grandz, or you can go to YouTube where you can search GrandZ insert greatness here, and that's the YouTube page. I'm trying to think of what I want to start the episode with. I feel like here comes Zoe making an appearance right now. Let's see. I'm gonna play a beat as the intro so we can get this started right. Let's see. I hit play. What happened? Can't be having technical difficulties in episode 17 of the Grand Fridays. Thank you everybody who hops on and off the live. Computer has definitely been, you know, tripping today. But we got, like I said, we got good topics today. Two big topics. This is Friday, so hopefully you off work. If you are off work, you know, salute to you. You know, if you're not off work yet, I don't know what to tell you. If you're off work, cheers, happy hour, toast to you. I'm gonna run it back. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Hope you've had a great week. So, like I said, this has been a really interesting week for me as far as, you know what I'm saying, as far as music, not being able to work on music, but I have been working towards, like I said, the next phase. That's really getting the YouTube page up and running, and also the BeatStars page up and running. it's really cool to learn about the process of one, what it takes to monetize your platforms and things of that nature, or and one thing about YouTube that is, I guess, it's pros and cons to it. I think the cool thing is that if you create something and you post it to YouTube and you get X amount of views, you can turn that potentially into profit. Either you can do that from utilizing that content as a marketing tool, or you can utilize that as actual monetization on that website by partnering up with YouTube. So that's the pro to where, like, something like this, if you create Grand Friday. So for me, Grand Fridays is a product that I own, is a show that I do every week. I can post it on YouTube, and by being able to play my own music that I make, I own 100% ownership and copyrights to that. And because I do, and I play that throughout my record, I can monetize this video, this live that I do. I can monetize it because, like I said, I own the content, I own the music that's being played. And that's where you see me kind of shy away from playing other records from time to time. I pick and choose what episodes when I want to play other music, because it's about monetization. And that's something where, like I said, we're going to get into Crown talking a little bit and talk more about that. But I think that's been like one of the coolest things about this week of really learning more about YouTube, more about uploading and YouTube Studio, the different resources that they have for individuals who want to create channels. Is what they call to create channels, and how to monetize it. And there's so much articles, so much out there. It's things you can watch on YouTube, which you're helping out another creator, a person out by watching their content. But there's so much content on the internet. So if you ever think about whatever product or whatever idea that you may have, maybe you're funny and you like to do skits or do silly things and you want to record it and post it somewhere. You can find a way to monetize that, especially if you get a bunch of subscribers. And that's pretty much where, the world is right now, by getting subscribers, a subscription-based product. So just learning more about that in my spare time has been, pretty cool. And something about this show that, just thinking about, like, what's next for the show? Do I want to continue to do this show now? It's always been a question for me. Like, do I really want to do this show, or do I want to do more, or how do I want to do it? So I've been going back and forth, and I feel like, this show allows not just me, but for, and thank you for the people who are watching this either live or watching it after the fact on Facebook, and some people who reach out to me and, about things that I talk about on the show or things in general. Like, I appreciate it. This show kind of, not only helps people, I guess, tap into me, but also helps people to understand, I guess, the process of what happens to really, maybe you don't watch it for this, but maybe to see the process of somebody who has an idea and sees each intricate step of the process. And hopefully I'm able to do that while we having fun, while we playing music, while we having drinks, while I'm talking about all type of stuff that's going on in the world that's related to music. Let's see if my computer is doing better. You know what I'm saying? Because I would like to play some music, some beats. But if my computer is still acting slow, then I don't know how that will work. unless I play through the phone. So yeah, so I'm gonna jump right into, crown talk. I do have some crown in my crown cup today, some vanilla. And with me learning about streaming and learning about these different social media platforms, because this is the new way for people to find a way to create revenue and kind of, like, in some instances, or not even in some instances, to become an entrepreneur. Like, some people have talent or have, ambitions, and want to get into various things, or at least want to drive an audience towards them, so that they can promote or advertise whatever their platform is. So if you are a socialist, if you do grassroots stuff, if you create a podcast or a show or something like that, you're probably creating some type of content that can draw people to you so that you can advertise your platform, whatever that is, in that world, or whatever goals or initiatives that you're trying to reach. And I think that that's pretty cool. But I don't know if people really know the ins and outs of what it takes to create profit. Now, for me, I'm gonna be honest. This conversation that we having today is not me speaking in the sense of, like, I got the answers, that I know everything. So I don't want anybody to, kill me and, or take something that I say here, run with it. And if it don't work, be like, yo, GrandZ, you send me off. That's not the goal of this conversation that I'm talking about when it comes to streaming and sites and things of that nature. Is more so just to inform you and to let you know the knowledge that I learned, and share that knowledge with you. So, like I said, this week I've been working on creating these pages and trying to create a space, a marketplace, an advertisement place, or content channel place, so that that they can have content. I won't tell you my whole plan, because first I just want to see if it works. But one thing that I learned in the process of YouTube, or reading and learning about this, is just stream. Like, one, it takes a long time for you to build a brand and build a brand, fan base, subscription pool, whatever you want to call it. And there's so many different avenues that people have done over time, but then you would think that it's oversaturated, right? Because everybody has a phone, everybody can turn on their phone and do exactly what I'm doing. Everybody can hop on YouTube, create an account free with your Gmail or whatever email you have, and create a YouTube account, create a channel, take out your phone, record it, edit it on your iMovie if you got an iPhone or whatever you got on your Android, and then upload it to YouTube. And some apps even let you upload directly to YouTube. But that's really the simple part. And I know it may sound like that's a lot of steps right there, but it's really the simple part. The simple part is everything I just said: create content. The hard part is, now I've created this content, what do I do with it? One. Two, I created this content and now I figure out what to do with it, but how do I monetize it? How do I make money off of this content? And you got to ask yourself what's the goal? Is the goal to automatically, like, is it get rich quick, or, generate enough money quickly to where I can do this full time and not work a 9 to 5? Like, what is your goal? Or is it a slow burn? And I'll just be honest, from my from my perspective, or just let you know about me, is now, when I was younger and YouTube was first coming out, I didn't, of course, I wasn't looking at none of this stuff for real. But you realize that, when you first doing anything that you love, you're doing it for the love and the passion of whatever it is. But once you can figure out how to, be compensated from it, you then start to do that and want to do that. And when you have different avenues such as YouTube, such as SoundCloud, such as Spotify, we're going to get into Spotify, Apple Music, all these other different platforms, the first thing you think, especially if you're an aspiring artist or content creator, you want to create content, whatever content you're good at, and then you want to upload it and reach people and become this superstar. And that's, you want to be, if you rap, you want to be Jay-Z or Drake, right? If you sing, you want to be Beyonce, or you want to be Chris Brown or Usher. Hopefully not Chris Brown, but you know what I mean? Talent-wise, you want to be Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Or if you are a aspiring movie director, you want to create short videos and put that on YouTube so that it draws enough attention for you to be get connected with that industry, or big enough to where you can do your own movies and independent movies. So that's great, and that's what everybody should be aiming for, especially when you're creating these this different content. But the problem is that if you're only thinking that you're going to, if you're thinking that you're going to create something and then it's going to happen overnight, doesn't happen like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen like that for anybody. For all people, that artists and things that of that nature that you see that it quote unquote overnight success, those individuals have either put in years to decades worth of work that you haven't seen because it wasn't on the major platform, but they can go back and people in that industry can go back and be like, yeah, I remember when this person was, on the when the lights was performing when the lights is on, you know what I'm saying? Or if they're a comedian, they call it the Chitlin circuit. So like, I remember when they was on the Chitlin circuit, or they was performing at colleges with, 30 people as the host. 30 people in a crowd and things of that nature. And they were going on and they only had 5 to 10 minutes, for their set. So you have different things like that occurs. So, and people grind for years or for decades till they reach that higher level. And, but people think that, hey, if I create content, if I create content and I believe my content is good, I'm going to be able to then generate revenue. And, and I got X amount of people who I'm friends with, so that should automatically generate revenue. I just want to say before we get into the streaming point that I don't care how many friends you got on Facebook, and you could be one of the coolest people ever, but if they don't, if you can't, I'll just say this: people won't support until they have to support. And that's something I learned over time, is that you can be frustrated with family or friends about, man, why these people don't support, they seem like haters. But it's not that they're haters, is that that's not their interest, so they're not going to support automatically. And if they do support, they're just supporting off the strength of you, not necessarily on how good or bad your product is. And you want to get to a point where you build that brand and you build that level of respect and true customers in an audience who's willing to watch every week, or who's willing to listen to music, or to the point where, like, you, for artists, if you're putting out a song, that person will purchase that song for 99 cents or $1.29, and then you drop the album for $9.99 and people purchase the album too. So not only are they purchasing the song that they bought for $1.29 or 99 cents, they are purchasing that song again within the album for $9.99, so, or $11.99, however much you're selling the album for. but that's how you know that you built a brand that's respected and you've got true customers. So the main thing I was getting at was that it's not overnight success. You have to be okay with knowing that there's one or two people watching you live, and people will hop on and off throughout the time that you on, and that slowly but surely it will, it will get better, because this is really like a practice run. And that's what I want to tell people. Like, it's more of a practice run. Like, getting on these lives, for me, speaking for me in particular, it's like there's a bigger plan that I want to get into. And this right here is kind of like a practice run for me. So this is an opportunity where I can showcase my talent in music, but it also is a opportunity for me to be in front of the camera, speak, have that live interaction. So it's so many different things. But back to the streaming piece of it. So now you done created the content, you figure out that you want to monetize it, and you figure out what platforms and what resources help to monetize it, but you still haven't made any money. Like I said, that's why I threw out the disclaimer right away. Like, it's not about how much money you make in the beginning, it's about how much money you make at the end. Like, if you set goals at a certain time, it's like, all right, well, if I ain't made this money by this time, then that's when you need to, reevaluate and think again on, how can I improve the quality? How can I improve this process, type of thing, where, so that's from the artist standpoint. That's from the person who's the creator standpoint. Whatever you're creating, that's from that standpoint. But getting to the money, right? So now when we talk about YouTube and streams, like I said, most from an artist perspective, you think, hey, I created the product, I got it to a quality that people should like it or purchase or want to buy into it, and now it's on these platforms. I should be able to, it should be able to do something. Now the trouble becomes, okay, now let's look at it from the sense of, now I done built a fan base, or I got people looking at it. So now I got 2,000 friends on Facebook, and let's say 300 of those friends on Facebook are consistent with rocking with me and going to my products, as I would call them, my content, and they're watching this and they're helping me build this, and I've reached the numbers that needs to be reached on these platforms. So, like, let me break it down for you as far as YouTube, you need at least 10,000 subscribers. So that means that you need 10,000 people to like your page and subscribe to your page. So that hit the subscribe button. You get 10,000 people at minimum, then you can now get into the process of being able to monetize your page for, I believe, advertisement, or because I'm going off the top, you can now sell merchandise at 10,000. I think at 30,000 or more is where you can now get advertisement, but 10,000 is where you can now sell merch, or maybe the other way around. But nonetheless, it's still a feat, because now you going from somebody who, man, you may not know. I mean, you don't know 30,000 people, and then you friends with 5,000 or 10,000 or 1,100 people on Facebook, but are you really truly connected to these 1,100? Are you connected via some experience you all had together at some point? But are you truly friends with all 1,100 right now? More than likely not. So that's where it's like, you can't really base it off that. You just got to base it off creating a great product and finding a way to market it. But now you've done that. Now let's say you reach your goals and things of that nature. And this week in the news, it was an article out there where where the CEO of Spotify spoke, and his name is Daniel Ek, and he's the CEO of Spotify. Spotify is a music stream service that rivals Apple Music, SoundCloud, Tidal, Pandora, Amazon Music, all these places. So Spotify is like the number one place for podcasts now. They're spending the most money. They're buying up all independent podcast companies, and they're becoming a conglomerate, or a monopoly on, in the podcast game. But they started off as a music streaming service, and they also are like the leaders when it comes to independent music services. So a lot of independent artists like to utilize Spotify because they give you opportunities to get your music onto playlists and showcase your talent. There's a lot of politics that goes behind all of these things, but for the most part, there is a space where anybody, like you and me, we make a song, we get it produced a certain way, and we put it on there. There's a good chance where we could make a playlist. I know I'm simplifying it, but just giving you an idea of Spotify and why independent artists like to use Spotify more so than other places. But the CEO of Spotify says, he talks about music streams and people really asking about hey, you just spent $500 million on podcasts, right? You spent $500 million on podcasts, and a month or two ago, they just signed Joe Rogan, who's a famous TV star / activist type of guy now, comedian, things of that nature. And he has one of the top, or arguably the top podcast in the world with the Joe Rogan Experience. And he just signed a great deal, a huge deal with Spotify for an undisclosed amount of money, which allegedly is in $100 million contract. So, of course, artists are like, even signed artists are like, man, how are you a music streaming platform, but you don't find a way to pay artists more money for streams or for anything like that? For those who may not know about streams are pretty much every play that happens on a streaming site. So if you play a song on your phone from Apple Music or whatever streaming service you utilize, or even on YouTube, or even on videos like this on Facebook, that's considered a stream. Every play is a stream. Now, for every different site, there's different standards of what counts as a actual play or actual stream. Where some places, like, you gotta listen to it for 15 seconds for it to count. I think that's what it counts as a song, like 10 or 15 seconds. If you listen to 10, 15 second song, I think they will count it as a stream. Some places count it as 30 seconds or a minute. So it really depends on what platform you utilize. That's why you have to really do your homework, especially if you're trying to get into this business of creating content and monetizing it from that perspective, from those platforms. So if I'm trying to get paid from YouTube, I need to know what guidelines I have to reach for me to be in the conversation of receiving payment. Same thing when it comes to Apple Music and any other platform. But so back to the CEO, Daniel Ek. Daniel Ek talks about. So they asked him, like, hey, you spent $500 million on podcasts in the podcast realm. Why isn't that money going to artists? And his response, why isn't going to artists was one part of the question. The main question that he answered was about what will it take for artists to, make, I guess, more money on that platform, on Spotify. And his response was simply like, if you want to make more money, you have to create more content. Now, from his perspective, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, one, I'm the CEO of a company. So if I'm CEO of this company, yeah, I'm going to tell you, you make more product, you put more product on my platform, you're going to get paid more money. And of course, the more, I'm going to get paid more money because I'm the CEO. But from an artist perspective, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you more money. And this is why people in the music industry, or just people in general that's connected or cares about this, was in an uproar because of the simple fact of like fam, how can you say that this don't, how can you say that just create more content, you will make more money? That's very general and simplifying things. Like, yes, you would think that the more content or the more product you have, the opportunity to make more money. That's in theory. That's a simple theory. That's why he's not wrong with that statement. Because like at a store, like if Walmart only had one item in that store, they can make money. But once that item runs out, like they got to figure out how to make more product. But if I have 10 items, if I have 100 items, if I have 1,000 items, I'm going to make more money. And the theory is I should be able to make more money with more product. And that's essentially what he said. And that is true, but that's a simplified version, and that doesn't really register to equate when it comes to music in a sense. And I just want to share with y'all the streaming numbers. So at Spotify, because I looked this up, and because like I said, I've been following this process since streams kind of came into place, and how this becomes a conversation often of what's a stream, how much is a stream, how much should you get paid for a stream, how is it that I can be on Tidal and get paid the most for this song, but if I post this song on Apple Music or Spotify or SoundCloud, I'm getting lower and lower amounts per stream. So some people throw out there like, hey, if you get 1 million views, on your videos on YouTube, or 1 million views, music, wherever a million streams, period, the average payout, is $4,000 to $6,000. I didn't say anything wrong. I $4,000 to $6,000 for 1 million views. You know what you got to do to get 1 million views without without cheating the system. Some people find ways to cheat the system or the algorithms and all that stuff like that. But I'm just saying naturally, just if a person that don't know nothing about nothing, they just aspiring to create. So they create this product, they create this content, and now they go to this platform. They go to the platform, and the platform is, like I said, let's use Spotify because we're in a Spotify realm. I'm talking about the CEO, Daniel Ek, on Spotify. So I'm on Spotify. I create a song. I post it onto Spotify. Now I want to make money. Now, once a play happen or a stream happen, I won't get paid. You got to hit a certain number to receive payment when it comes to streams. Or you got to get publishing deals. You got to get a lot of other things to, it's like when they say it's the music business is really a business. But just to let you know how much a stream on Spotify pays a person. So if you're on the low end, if you're probably a person who just starting out, or maybe just, maybe they consider you on the low end, the minimum of what you can get paid for a stream is 0.006, right? So that's 0.006. That's the minimum. And the max that you get paid for a stream is 0.0084. So essentially, you're getting paid 1/6 of a penny, or you're getting paid 1/8, I believe, of a penny. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't know. I don't know. But that's how much you're getting paid. You're getting paid minimum. You either getting paid 0.006 or 0.0084 for each stream that you get. So if we just do the minimum, because nobody knows you doing this all independently from your house. You created a song, you put it on Spotify. Somehow it jumped up and people are listening to your record. I'm pulling up my calculator now because I don't want to pull it up on the phone. I just want to tell you the amount of I get paid 0.006. So, okay, here the calculator is coming up. All right, matter of fact, what I'm going to do is flip it so that you see it. All right, so I'm an artist. Let's say I'm an artist and I post on Spotify. So here's the number, right? So at the minimum, if you're a brand new independent artist and you just recorded a song and you want to play the song, or if you are on YouTube, because the numbers are comparable on Apple Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube Music. So these are probably these are in the realm of any streaming site of what a particular person gets paid. So like I said, 0.006. That's the minimum at the very least of what somebody will get paid, right? If they created a song or put a video up on YouTube and get 1 view, 1 stream. So let's times that by 100 people. Let's say, like I said earlier, I got 2,000 friends on my platform, but out of those 2,000 people, I got 100 people who, say, I rock with you, or you know what, I'm gonna check out whatever this dude posted, and I happen to like this. All right, so cool. I'm a listen for 15 or 30 seconds, and okay, it was cool. So I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. So now you got 100 people who listen to your whole song. Let me hit the equal sign. 60 cents. Look at that. 0.6. So off 100 listeners or 100 viewers on your video, you made 60 cents. Now, it really depends, on how you look at things. It's all about your perspective. Maybe 100 people is a lot of people to you. Maybe 100 people isn't. But regardless on if you think 100 people is a lot of people or not, the revenue is still the same. You made 60 cents. So to make $1, how much you think that you got to make? Let's see. Let's say 150 people. So 150 people, 150 people, let's see. Maybe I did that wrong. Hold on. 0.006 times 150. No, I was right. You still haven't made $1 with 150 people. You're at 90 cents. Yeah, 90 cents. So let's see, 160 maybe. Point. I'll let you know. I didn't go to school for math, so no. Let's see, 170 times 0.006. All right, so 170 people. So let me flip it back. So you need 170 people just to get you to $1.02. $1.02. 170 people to watch whatever content that you put out. So if you put out a song and you post it on Apple Music, you need 170 listens, streams, before it happens. And you got to hope that those 170 people listen to your song long enough for it to count as a stream. If that person happens to click in your song and they listen to it for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, or if they accidentally clicked on you but they didn't really want to listen to you, you know what I'm saying, you don't get that stream. Or if somebody like so like I said, you got to get 170 people to actually listen to your song. You know what I'm saying? For it to count, because I believe that, you know, these sites are tracking IP addresses or different. They can tell the difference of, you know, of what's being counted. Like, you can't be on your phone and listen to the same song 50 times and it's going to count as 50 different listens. It just don't work that way. It just don't work that way. You're not going to be able to listen to a song a million times and then say, oh, I had 1 million listens. Like that, it's just, it don't work like that. I believe that they track the IP address and the IP address of every product that's used. So, but anyway, just to show you the numbers about streams. So that's why I started off with the Grand Fridays episode 17, telling the listeners and watchers out there that, hey, maybe this conversation isn't for you because you don't want to create content or you're not a aspiring artist, but this is for you in the sense of when you see your friends who are posting about Zooms, posting about YouTube videos or anything, you may give it a look. You know what I'm saying? You may not watch the whole the thing in entirety, but you may now say, you know what? I'm going to click on that link because hey, this person is, you know, we gotta help this person create enough content and enough to be able to monetize their page. Because I mean, $1.02 after, you know, to pay me $1.02 after 170 people have watched the content, that is terrible. That's terrible. You know what I mean? Because if I had a physical product and I said, hey, I want to sell you my product, and I had 170 people and I set a price point, even if my price point is a 99 cent, I have $170 in my pocket. $170 in my pocket is way better than having $1.02. So that's where, you know, when Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, speaks on like, hey, if you want to make more money on Spotify, put out more content, and that we're in a space where more content is better. All of those things are true. We are in a space where content is king, and that everybody's kind of stationary now, so that, you know, people are watching more, creating more, doing a lot of things. So the more content, the more it can have you kind of break through in an oversaturated market. But the reality is that if I'm starting from literally the bottom, it, and even if I'm not starting from the bottom, if I'm even a well-known artist getting paid, putting that hard-earned energy, to only get less than a penny back, that's just crazy. So I'm gonna just give you a little bit more numbers. I'm gonna tell you from experience on as a artist of what it takes for one song. What it takes for one song. I didn't know that today would be a math it'd be a math show, but hey man, we here. So when it comes to making music, so money and time are very expensive when it comes to making content. You can't put a number on time. Well, you can monetize time, but anyway, that's it. I'm not gonna get into that because I can go off on a tangent. But so as an artist, you write the song. If you happen to be like me, you make your own beat. So you already cut costs. So let me take that back. Let me rewind and let me do it from a perspective of I'm a artist, a rapper or a singer, and I don't create my own music. So I'm Joe Schmo rapper. First thing I do is spend time trying to find beats. Luckily, there's platforms out there nowadays where you can find beats. There's always been platforms, but it's a lot more platforms now where you can go anywhere and find beats. You can even just go strictly to YouTube and find beats to write for. So now I done found some beats, or I done found a beat. Let's just say I pick one beat. Now I have to purchase the beat from this producer. I have to work with this producer. Let's say this producer, let's say that because my budget is small. Let's just treat it like I only got a couple $100s in my pocket and my money is small. So now I found a producer and he wants to lease me, and he has this leasing for the beat. So I done leased this beat for, let's say, $30. I paid $30. So now there go $30 already spent for me to lease this beat. I can perform this beat. I can monetize and for profit this beat because that's what's in the contract that we have. What I can't do is I don't have exclusive rights. So if he or she sells their beat to someone else with a leasing contract or a non-exclusive contract, they can utilize this same beat as well. Or, if somebody comes along and says they want to buy that beat outright, then now they have exclusive rights to this beat, and I can no longer utilize this beat to make profit. I can't, like, now my contract is kind of null and void. But that's essentially the first step for artists. So now you done bought a beat, you done leased the beat for $30. If you want to buy a beat outright, let's just say I had $600. I had $600. That's a good number to start off with. I had $600, and like if I bought that beat flat out, let's say that producer sold it to me for $200. So we're gonna do that. So scrap the lease part. I may come back to lease, but I'm gonna just focus on if I bought the beat. I bought the beat for $200. I had $600. $600 minus $200 is $400. Now I got $400 left. Got $400 left in my pocket. I got one beat. I got one beat that I think is fire, and I spent $200 for me to own it flat out. I had $600 to my name. Now I'm left with $400. So now with this $400, so during this time as I bought the beat, I have now written a song to it that I think is fire. It's out of here. It's a hit, right? I think it's a hit. So now I done wrote a song. Now the next step for an artist is that I have to go to a studio to record it if I don't have equipment in my home. Creating your own home studio, which I've done that before too, become costly. It is definitely it depends on where you go and what quality or level of quality you're trying to reach off the bat as an artist, to determine if it's cheaper to have your own studio or to go to a professional studio and record your music. I'll quickly say, for me, I think that there's pros and cons, so it's really no wrong way to look at it. I think that from a person who's just starting out in music, or somebody who is in music but has to be realistic and have a lot other things to focus on, maybe slowly but surely, maybe going to the studio is cheaper than than building your own studio, because what I'm going to get into next about the math breakdown of an artist and what it takes to create one song. Going to a studio, it saves you all of the time. It saves you all of the cost for buying your own equipment. That's one perspective of why going to the studio is better than going to creating your own home studio. The benefit of the other side of it, of creating your own home studio, is that over time, I save money and time. I save money and time in the sense of where, hey, if I got an idea and I got access to all these beats and I just want to record, by having something in my home, I can just record and knock it out, and then I can outsource everything else, like mixing and mastering and things of that nature. Or I can at least practice here, and then if I want to spend money at the studio, I'll be ready to just knock it out, and I won't waste money while I'm in the studio. So that's like pros and cons. But back to the math, right? I had $600 in my budget as a Joe Schmo rapper artist. I spent $200 on a beat. Now I'm left with $400, because now with that $200, I exclusively own the rights to this beat, meaning that I'm the only person who can perform on this beat. If anybody else perform on this beat, I can sue. So now I got $400. So next, I done wrote a song. I done wrote the next big thing that y'all finna dance to and listen to. But now I gotta record it, because I don't have a studio in my home. I don't have the equipment. So one thing that, like, from experience for me, is I create first and then prepare, so that when I do go to a studio and when I am in the studio, I pay for bulk time, meaning that instead of paying by the hour, I pay for a block of hours, because usually it's cheaper. It's a little bit cheaper than paying by the hour. Number one. Number two, buying in blocks is less pressure as far as time to get things right, because if you are struggling with laying down vocals, it's pressure on you when it's by the hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have to pay $150 per hour, or $50, 25, even $25 an hour, that can get costly when you keep messing up. And now it's like, man, I didn't pay for 3 hours already, but I'm still on one song. Not to mention that the engineer has to put a rough mix on this record. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing when it comes to the music. So let's say this. Okay, I'm a rapper. I bought it in block, and let's say they had this professional studio where a lot of people in the city go to, and they have a deal on 8 hours. I get an 8-hour block for $300. So I have $400 left, right? Mind you, I got $400 left. I take it, right? Because I feel like I got this song, but I also got some other songs in the tuck that I feel like, hey, I can record, or I got freestyles I can do, whatever, right? So I feel like I can do $300 worth, or at the very least, I can record this one song, and I can say, hey, is there a way for us to mix this record? I can mix this record too. So now they spending time on mixing this record, and you get a professional mix throughout this time. So now I just spent $300. Now I'm left with $100. So this $600 budget. I done bought a beat. I done recorded. I done wrote a song, and it depend on how you write. Because time could be money, and could be very valuable and costs a lot there, but you can't monetize that. Can't show it on paper anyway. But then $300 for studio time. So now, and maybe a professional mix, or a good mix. So now I'm left with $100, and I still ain't even got to Spotify yet, right? I still ain't got to Spotify. So now I got $100. Now with that $100, what can I do with this $100? With this $100, I can find a random site, because there's sites out there for $100 or for like $50 or something like that. I can get my song mixed to a professional level, or radio level is what it's called. I won't say professional. I mean, it's professional, but radio level. So, because essentially you want to have a song that's mixed well enough to get played on the radio, because people still need to get played on the radio. They still need that sound that's connect to the radio, or you can look for mixes and mastered records to be streamed, because the mixing and mastering is a little bit different on the different platforms and things like that. But I'm getting sidetracked. But I got $100 left. Let's say I spent it on getting my song mastered. So now I have zero money. It cost me $100 to get it radio mastered. I have zero money. I spent $600 on getting one song, getting the rights to the beat so that can't nobody else rap on this beat or create a song on this beat. Recording the song, getting it radio mastered, mixed, and radio mastered. So that's one song. Now $600 is cheap. I'm just tell you from experience, $600 is cheap. Is for one song, $600 is, well, I won't say cheap. It's reasonable. It's reasonable for your levels. It's reasonable for levels, right? If you're talking about having a mix like Beyonce, or having a mix like top artists, whoever, one song can cost you $3,500 to $6,000. But if you just want a record that is professionally mixed, that has radio quality to it, $600 is reasonable for you to pay to have it mixed and mastered and record. You spending $600, $800 is not crazy. It may sound crazy to the average person, but this is what people do to have quality music so that it don't hurt your ears and that they can make it to certain platforms. So now I spent $600, but now it's like, okay, now what do I do with the song? Now I take the song and I put it on Spotify. And let's say I get enough traction to where 170 people listen to my record. 170 people listen to my record. That's pretty cool, right? From a person who, just like I said, who just was in a house, heard a beat, liked the beat, purchased a beat, recorded, got it mixed and mastered. Now it's up on the platforms. But if I'm only getting paid from a stream, I've only made $1.02. So I'm gonna 0.00, what is that? 206 times a million. How many zeros in a million? That's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million. All right. So I'm going to flip the camera again. I believe, yep, that's a million. All right, so we're going to hit equals. So that's $6,000. So that's what I was speaking to. So a million views on YouTube, or a million views on a video that you created, or a song, a million streams will only cash you out. You will only, garner $6,000. Now, $6,000 off $600. You're like, cool, right? Right? You're like, cool. I spent $600 to create this one song, and I made, $6,000 off that song. That's cool. But that's if your record within a short span of time made you that money. You know what I mean? Like if you turn around and make, if you did all of this in 30 days, you know what I'm saying? Or even in, let's say in 3 months. In 3 months, if you spent $600 in the first month to record and do everything in 30 days, and then by the 90th day or the 100th day, you have $6,000, that's a good investment. You know what I mean? You're not tripping. But if you spent $600 and you don't reach that million until 2 years later, 2 years, 3 years later, like, is that really a good investment? Like, some people may say, yeah, but if you're a recording artist, you're not making no money. You're not making any money yet. All you're doing is spending money out. So you made one song for $600. How many songs does it take for you to make a EP? Usually people have 4 to 6. So that's like $2,400 to $3,600. So you just spent $3,600 to make this EP, and you haven't recouped any money. So that's where, even though you've had 1 million people listen to your record, and that's where the problem is. Like, you had 1 million people listen to your record, or you've had 1 million plays, and you haven't, and you only walk away with $6,000. That's crazy. So that's where the artists have a point. Like, man, we're not even getting paid. We're not even getting paid a penny. We're not even getting paid a penny, man. We're not getting paid a penny, but we're spending X amount of dollars to create this project. And if the more of an artist you are, if you're on a label, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have backing behind it, it's just a loan. So yeah, you have the money, you have the resources and opportunity to make money. But if you, like I said, if you get 1 million plays, if you get 1 million plays, if you got an album that has 10 songs on it, and you get 1 million plays on each of them, like, that's 10 million views. That's 10 million views that you've had, but that's only $60,000 to show for it. So that's where it's like, that's where the frustration when it comes to being an artist is. So that's why I wanted to share that today with all of you, to just to say, like, hey, don't ignore your little cousins or don't ignore your friends who may be what you consider past the prime or whatever. Don't ignore them and their content that they're putting out on out on Facebook or anywhere, because the reality is that it takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to create just this one content and this one product, and there isn't any revenue. You're banking and hoping to create revenue, but the reality is there's no revenue. There's no revenue that's coming in. So the potential is I could be negative $600, and negative $600 plus, like I said, if I do 10 records or whatever, the math, right? So, right, I can be out thousands of dollars, before I even gain anything back. And that's where the challenge is when it comes to streaming on these sites. I have a theory. I won't share that now because I'm actually working my theory, and it sounds crazy for me to talk about it on camera. My theory, my process before I know it works for me or work at all. Because I definitely if it does work, then and even if it doesn't work, I still would share it. But it's a process. But yeah, I just thought it was crazy that the CEO, and not just me, a lot of people thought it was crazy that the CEO of Daniel Ek from Spotify said, hey, if you want to make more money in the music industry on our platform, put out more content. Yes, in theory, you can do that. But at getting paid 0.006 or 0.0084 for one stream, and if you got 1 million people that's listening to your music, you only bring home $6,000, $4,000 to $6,000. That is not enough money based on it's not a good investment unless it happens immediately. Like that's the only way that can be beneficial. And definitely if I spent more money and I only bring home $6K, so if it costs me, like if I'm a recording artist on a major label, if they gave me an advance of $250,000 and it cost me $30,000 to record my album, and I only bring home $6,000 off of this one record, that's not good at all. That's not good at all. And I don't want to get into that because I just spent the whole hour on breaking this down. But yeah, so that was it about that, man. I think that I just wanted to share with you all what it takes for an artist or just anyone who's a creator who's trying to be on these platforms. So you may look at us as crazy, even myself is crazy, doing this every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time on the Grand Fridays. Y'all may think I'm crazy doing this or any other content that I produce, but it takes a lot of time to do these things. It takes money in certain aspects. With this particular platform, it don't cost me nothing because Facebook is free. The only thing that costs me is my phone and the time. But nonetheless, trying to monetize content is not an easy process. One, you got to get people to view it, but I mean, you got to get, like I said, you got to get 10 times the amount of people to view your content just to make X amount of dollars. And so that's why, like, hopefully people who are watching this and watch this later or watch this on YouTube later, maybe you will sit and watch, a moment and, pick up some of these gems in the Crown Talk that we having. Because, or like I said, maybe you got friends or family members who do this stuff and you may look at them as crazy, but, they're really trying to find a way to monetize so that they can kind of become entrepreneurs or do something else with their life. Or just want to showcase their talent. Like for me, I just want to showcase my talent, and find different ways to do that, to showcase various things that I'm interested in or talents that I feel like I have. But yeah, getting paid less than a penny for one stream is nuts. I always thought that was nuts. So it's real interesting when you learn about streaming sites, when you learn about monetization around them, when you learn about the frustration that other people have, or how really money is made not through the initial product itself, is really made through advertisement and advertisement really. Because marketing, you're not even really, you're paying to market the information. But advertisement, in a sense, is like, sometimes that's free, or people pay you because of the brand you have and the impact you have, the influence you have, and people pay for that. So it was one last thing I wanted to get into, because we've been on this live for a little bit over an hour. Normally the show ends in an hour and 30. So it's BeatStars. So I wanted to talk about BeatStars. BeatStars is a company that started off as a marketplace for producers of all levels to have a platform to sell their beats. As simple as that. It's also has kind of grown to where aspiring artists and songwriters can go there and listen to beats, and you don't even have to be in the music. You may just like listening to music, like listen to beats or listen to upcoming unsigned artists. You can go there and do that as well. So it's just a place where unsigned acts are there trying to sell their music. So if you are a fan of music and a fan of finding new music, you go there and create an account and just listen to music. Listen to beats. You go there, listen to my beats. You go, there, listen to songs that's on the website. If you are a unsigned artist, and like I said, that Joe Schmo rapper, if you want to find somewhere to listen to beats and where you can lease beats, where you can have non-exclusive contracts or exclusive contracts with a producer and build a network and maybe build a relationship with that producer to where y'all are working together and that's your producer type of thing. You can do all of that there. Contact them, buy beats from them, all of that good stuff. From a producer standpoint, it's a place where you can sell your beats, you can interact with other producers and listen to other producers' stuff and collaborate. So it's cool. It's a cool site. But BeatStars have grown even more than just that. So I told you the first phase of them just being a marketplace for producers. The second phase was being a marketplace for artists. The third phase was now BeatStars has grown their community to where they have distribution now, and they're working on publishing. So and they also they're working on publishing. So distribution in the music industry, or just distribution pretty much is like this. To put your music on these streaming sites or something like that, you got to create a distributor. You got to be a distributor. Either it's yourself or there are other companies or platforms out there where you can distribute your music through. So for independent artists, people use like company called CD Baby. People use like what's the one that's in my head outside of CD Baby? You have now BeatStars, but it's why is it escaping me? CD Baby, Deezer's one, but I'm not thinking of Deezer. Bandcamp is a place, and it's gonna kick me. Oh, TuneCore. Don't kill me, music heads. Don't kill me. But TuneCore is one of the top places for independent artists where they're a distributor, where you can work with them. They can put your music on all the different big streaming platforms that's out there, and they help you get your royalties. So pretty much so anytime your music is played or you use, they can go out there and get the money that you deserve. So all these little less than a penny things, they can track those things, which is called royalties, and you can get paid. So so a distributor there, and it gives you the access to be on all these different platforms. So that's just a simple version of what a distribution deal or having a distributor is. So now that they're jumping in that game, BeatStars with their distribution, and they are where they have like one of the best deals out there, where you own 100% of the revenue, and pretty much what you're paying for is where they have it cheap right now because they're just starting out, but it's $1.99. So $1.99 is the amount for you a month that you will pay, and I believe they give you the first month for free. So, but pretty much you'll pay $1.99, and all the music that you want to put on sites, that meet all of the requirements to be on the site. And the requirement is really just do not put any music you don't own on these sites for distribution. So if you sampling records, if you made a song and it got sample in it, to clear it, don't put that up there just yet, because that's going to be the second part I talk about what they doing next. But if you got an original record, so these beats I'm playing right now, is if I sell a beat and I sell it to an artist, and the artist creates a song and he puts it up he's with BeatStars, he or she's with BeatStars, and the distribution piece, they can have it on any platform. So for you can go out there and listen to it on any streaming site, and then we'll make money. So and the cool thing about BeatStars is that they have all of it kind of built in their platform to where the splits are there, to where it's you don't have to go through manually creating split sheets and all of this stuff, musical jargon stuff that I'm talking about, where everybody can get paid and everybody can have the right copyright percentage. So that's pretty much what happens on BeatStars. And now with the distribution, you can go through them instead of having to go, you can do kind of a one-stop shop, make beats, put it on there, sell your beats there, get all your revenue, get revenue back from there, 100% of revenue there. You also can now distribute your music through them, pay them a monthly whatever, and then sell your records and get 100% there. So I think that that's pretty cool that it's a one-stop shop if you want to, and you can make revenue, and probably the most, for an independent artist. So it's kind of like getting in that TuneCore realm. So I think that that's pretty cool, and I wanted to share that today of something to look into. So if you're a upcoming artist, or if you're an upcoming artist or unsigned artist or aspiring artist in any type of genre it may be, definitely check out BeatStars to go there and listen to beats so you can find people to work with, or songwriters to work with, or artists to work with. But you can also now, if you are an artist, and you got records, you can now go through them at a low price and distribute. And if people buy your product, you will get the 100% of the revenue. Now, like I said, that's what it say. I read the fine print. That's what it say. But for $1.99, that's, maybe, and this is just my opinion, maybe it's only $1.99 because of how large the community is on BeatStars, where it's thousands of producers and artists on there. So where, they make their money, $1.99 is, that makes sense. I sell it for $1.99. I got 100,000 artists on here. I'm making money. Not all of, I may have maybe 1 to 10 out of that 100,000 people making actual revenue, to where, they making big money that I don't get my hands on. But like I said, that's probably how they're looking at it. So maybe that's why it's that cheap. But hey, I think that based on fine print, and if you can look into it, you can look into it yourself. Go to BeatStars.com and you will see all of that. And the distribution is new. It's a new thing. Something else that they're working on that is new. It's limited right now, but they're looking to open it up to everyone. Is publishing. So BeatStars just did a deal with Sony ATV, which is one of the top, if arguably, it may not be arguably, it's the top publishing company in music, or just publishing companies out there, Sony ATV. So they just did a deal with them, and which is giving artists publishing deals. I won't get into all what a publishing deal is or nothing like that right now, but pretty much though, just to give you a simplified version of it, is that publishing, depending on publishing deals, depending on how your publishing deal is in general, it's like, let's say you're a producer. If you're a producer and you have cachet, like you've sold records or you've done things, and a publishing team may give you advance a certain amount of money to produce records because they believe in you. It's like pretty much like you become a stock. This is the best way to put it. You become a stock and they become the investor. And they see you as a brand, as a business, so they want to invest in you. And the thing is that you got to meet these criteria or whatever, but they're willing to give you X amount of dollars. And normally it's a nice penny depending on what level, but what level of success you're having. That's like a simplistic version of what a publishing deal looks like for people. They own, the publisher company will own that music. They will own whatever is part of the deal. So, or whatever music you make during that time, they own it until you meet all of the things in that deal. And then sometimes you will get, most cases you will get back 100%, or it may be they just own that music completely during that time and you own a certain percentage of it. So it's different things. Like I said, I didn't want to get into all of that right now, but publishing deal, they also help go get money. So you personally don't have to, you don't have to do, go to BMI, ASCAP. You don't have to do all of those things to retrieve money and things of that nature. Your publishing team can do that. And that's what they're trying to open up to all artists and producers who are on BeatStars. I think that is very unique. It's never happened before. It's kind of like BeatStars. BeatStars is kind of like, in my opinion, are turning themselves into a record label for like an independent record label is what they're turning their platform into. And I think it's pretty cool because, and then they have a pool of people of talent to choose from. So if they want to, go live, like if they want to make streams, I think it's just a new way for bigger labels to work with independent companies that draw enough prospects and talent. So I think it's good for labels. I think it is good for independent artists right now because it is a low cost but a potential high reward if you can draw, generate revenue and people to, buy your music, stream your music, all that. So I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, that so check out BeatStars. Go check out the BeatStars distribution. Go check out the BeatStars publishing and just everything on there. I also have a page, BeatStars.com, GrandZ, GrandZ. I am going to post music on there. I got to go back into my beats and, edit them. But yeah. So yeah, I like I said, I felt good about this one. I talk music talk. So hopefully everybody, like I said, walk away with, if you see somebody who is doing these videos or posting their podcasts or posting songs, check it out. Give it at least 1 minute because you're helping a lot. You're helping a lot for that person. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if the music or whatever is trash. You at least, or whatever they talking about don't interest you. Just give it a minute of a listen because that 1 minute counts as one stream and it's helping that person to get 0.006 or 0.0084, and they can be on their way to $6,000 if they get a million views. They get a million views, but just to wrap up this show, because we're getting close to the minute and 30 mark. You can follow me on Instagram at GrandZ32. Also, you can follow me on my backup page on Instagram at GrandZ32_music. You can like and subscribe this video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you go on YouTube, just search me, man. Just search me, man. And go to GrandZ, GrandZ. Insert greatness here. Like, type all that in, GrandZ, insert greatness here. And my channel will pop up. And hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. If you don't want notifications, turn the notifications off. If you want notifications, turn them bad boys on, because I'm putting mad content up there on a regular. So YouTube. Also, I said BeatStars.com/GrandZ. YouTube, Facebook. So Facebook, like my page, man. I have a page called Life of GrandZ. So that's LIFE of GrandZ, and you can find all of the Grand Friday episodes. All 17 of them bad boys are there. This episode will be there shortly, which is the 17th episode, will be on the Life of GrandZ page. So that if you want to go back and watch any of the episodes, you can. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube as well. And I have more content on the way when it comes to the Life of GrandZ page. So right now you can listen to some beats in its entirety on there that I played on weeks back on this show. You can go listen to the beats in its entirety on there. Same thing on YouTube. And yeah, man, what's that? Let me see if I reach everything I said. Facebook, SoundCloud.com /status32 STATUS32. You can go to that page and listen to music there. Let me think. What else, man? I'm just trying to get all my plugs out the way, man. Oh, Snapchat. I normally don't be on Snapchat, but I have a new show alert. So I'm announcing it now. It should be on I believe it's going to be on Snapchat, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and eventually on my YouTube after that week is done. But I'm doing another weekly show. It's going to be 5 minutes long. So I know how this show is long as hell for some people to watch through. But I mean, hopefully I believe I'm giving great content. But, if you like something shorter, I have a 5 minute show that will be starting. I believe I'm going to start this next week. But a 5 minute show called Top Five. So, Top Five, GrandZ Top Five is going to be the name of the show on my IG. Like I said, you can follow me at GrandZ32, GrandZ32, or GrandZ32 _music, GrandZ32 _ music. Snapchat, you can find GrandZ, GrandZ. I believe that may be status 32 as well. So Snapchat /STATUS32. Like I said, YouTube page, all that good stuff. You can find me, and this show is GrandZ Top Five, and it's literally a 5 minute show where I'm talking about top five whatever, and I'm telling you why they top five. So from music to cereal, whatever. It's essentially the segment that I have on this show, No Cap in the Cap, but just instead of it being time, 2 minute drill, it's 5 minutes. So it's literally a minute per per thing in the top 5. So that's going to start probably next week. So GrandZ Top 5. So that's the next content outside of the Grand Fridays that I'm coming with. So be on the lookout. I'll talk about it. You all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Corona is still out there. The Roni is still out there. Have a drink. Enjoy yourself this weekend. If you got to work, have only a drink or two. If you don't have to work, live it up. I'll see y'all next week.